American blacks are very unique because the slang differs to the region.
Okay, interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
No,
and sometimes the accent differs to the region. You know.
I see. That's
Yeah.
interesting to say that because obviously, like, it's kind of similar to the conversation we're having about leadership. So, what you say, like, like being in terms of leadership, like, would you say? So, my question is to you: what do you think is the key factor of being a good leader? Is it able to influence people or show compassion towards your fellow people?
Um, for me, the foundation of leadership, and I think I can speak on this because I was leading for more than 20 years myself in the position.
Hmm.
Um, for me, leadership is about self first.
Okay, self.
Yeah, yeah, self. Because and I realized it at a young age. I remember when I got promoted, and oh, I almost went to prison because
Wow.
because I was telling one guy, it was a sales company, and I was
Hmm.
the manager. I was telling him you got to do this, and he's telling me he's not doing it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You are going to do it.
Okay,
We're going to
interesting.
do it. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember the Ginzu knife,
To get you nice. I think vaguely remembering.
Japanese Ginzu knife sets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I bought one for my mom, and it was sitting on my desk or something.
Hmm.
And the guy's arguing with me, just arguing. I just took the knife set, and
Oh my
just
gosh.
threw it
Wow.
at him. Dude, it was the wrong thing to do. The knife fell out of the box,
Oh my gosh.
and God, the blade was heading to his eyes, and God took the knife and turned it around so the handle hit him in
It's
his
actually oh my days. Good
yeah.
thing.
The blade was I almost my pants.
Yeah.
That
No,
day, I said I need help. That's when I said I need help.
isn't you say that because listening to you, yeah, it's like it reflects on my experience because I used to work in retail as a
Mhm,
supervisor, and what I noticed is seeing a leader and a manager. There's
mhm.
two different things,
Absolutely.
and I think to me it's like some people like leadership is by setting a good example, and I think management is like delegating. So,
Yeah.
do you think there's like do you think a lot of people misunderstand management and leadership?
Yeah, absolutely. To me though, they're one of the same.
Hmm.
They separate them. Yes, managers manage processes and things like that, and leaders set
Okay,
standards and goals and visions and all of those fa- fancy stuff that the manager have to now, take and manage people. But to me, manager is not important because they're all leaders. And you see, the mistake we make is look at the doing of leadership instead of the being of leadership. That's the big mistake.
okay,
Yeah, everything,
okay.
all the training programs, everything
Mhm.
is about framework for this, save you time on this, a productivity tool for that, and everything is organized around the doing.
I
Nothing
see.
is organized around the being. And
Okay,
the being is like the chicken before the egg. Like which one come first? You know what I mean?
okay. No,
You know,
no, no, definitely.
the doing is not gonna be optimum or in the way you want it unless the being is optimum and is in the way you want it. Because
Okay,
the
interesting.
doing is a reflection from the being.
I see. Because
And
it is
so it goes right back to what I was saying earlier, self-leadership. That's
so
where it starts. So I'll give you an example. Burnout is a big thing right now, right?
facts. Hmm.
Okay. But what is everybody's doing?
That's the middle question. Like, it's
Everybody's going to the burnout and treating the symptom, wellness, this,
mm,
that. It's all symptom treatment. It's like going to the doctors and the doctor is prescribing you a pill,
yeah.
right? Okay. So did the doctor cure you? You have diabetes or you're type 1 or whatever. Did he give you some pill or you close to be high blood pressure?
Yeah.
So it gives you some pills. Right? I
Hmm.
said, okay, you're close to having high blood pressure. This would help you. Instead of saying, okay, here is the root cause of your problem.
Okay.
This is the root cause of your problem.
Because, but
Let's go to the core and cut out the root. It's a
hmm,
structural problem.
I see.
And so what we tend to do is to treat the symptoms instead of the
Problem.
foundation of the problem, right? And so the symptom becomes looping,
Hmm.
right? It persists or it just continues. It never ends because
I see.
we don't change the structure. And so
Because
that's why burnout is such a big thing.
so I hear what you're saying. Because obviously, I was taking some notes in my head. I was thinking with leadership and management, I think a lot of time we focus on behavior as the character.
Of
So
course.
we
Yeah.
so obviously like someone like you who's been like a leader for like over the years, will you say character, like I said, is more important than the behavior itself? Because
Character
obviously in my
determines the
first,
behavior.
yeah,
Character
yeah, because
determines the behavior. Again, the chicken and the egg. Um, Look at the U.S. president.
that's true.
That should tell you. That should tell you.
That's true.
It has nothing to do with the doing, but the character of the man, because the character of the man is causing the doing to take place. Before Trump came into office,
Joe
everything was
Biden.
nice and calm and going in the right direction and da da da. As soon as Trump come into office, chaos has not been taken a day off.
I hear it.
When is
It's
the
like it's
last time you
no,
see?
it's
When is the last time chaos take a day off?
it never. Can't never takes day off.
In the
It
last
never.
year, none at all since Trump came into office.
It's
Before
been
that,
add on. It's been
before that it
add
was
on.
calm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just character. You know,
Yeah. No,
character
of
of the
course.
person is important. Yeah.
It's kind of the
You
same as
have
us, as the UK, really. It's same with us, the UK. Since Labour took over, it hasn't got better. It's gone worse. So
mhm,
it's like next person in charge. It's got to look at like for a leadership person, what does the people need and say what they want.
mhm.
And I think what it is, though, you said about leadership. I think management. A lot of people who are high power don't care what the people need. They just care what they want. And
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, finish.
yeah, so why me like look at that perspective? Like you look at the most powerful people, like the leaders before us in ahead time. Like let's just take like America like America example. You had like Bill Clinton, you had John Kennedy, you had these kind of people who were able to move people in certain ways, and they knew how to get involved in certain ways. So like they had that persuasion, the influence. But like you said about the former character, not many of them had good character, but they managed to get good results in certain ways and somehow.
Oh yeah. Well, if you really think about this for a moment, there's a lot of excuses
Hmm.
around everything we do, right? It's
Yeah,
a result, especially in leadership, right?
yeah.
Leadership. Look at Donald Trump. He's just
Yeah.
an excuse. I don't know. He's the lamest person that I ever seen wear the term leadership. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because the man have zero responsibility, just
Yeah.
and accountability. There's no
Mhm.
and there that you can't call that leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership is responsibility and accountability for
Yeah.
your
100%.
actions,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
And so if you look at some of the things that take place in business or politics, they're
Mhm.
no different.
Yeah.
They're the same
Of
because
course.
some of the largest corporations are the ones who run the
Mhm.
country. They control politics by buying the politicians and all these other things, right? And so it becomes not about me and you. It becomes about what the company can get because we need to satisfy shareholders or I need to keep my job and have a bigger bonus next year. Or it doesn't really matter what their personal gain is attached to it. It
Mhm.
has lost or never been about the people. It's
Okay.
always
Yeah.
been
Nice.
about a profit structure. That's why if you look at, you can go back 100 years during the industrial age. It was never about the people. Look at slavery. It's not about people
Yeah.
or wealth.
Yeah. That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That is actually
So, so leadership is, I think leadership has gotten it wrong all along, all
really.
along. Yeah, all along from the get go, because it has never been about The people. Let me ask you a question. How much profit can you make if you don't have customers?
You can't make money at all.
Thank you. If How big can your company grow if you don't have employees?
At all.
Okay, so who is the core and the foundation of it all?
Pretty much me because I'm running it.
People, not the leader,
Yeah.
people, right? And
Okay.
so leadership has gotten it wrong all along. The focus is on profit, processes, um, goals, structure, all these things. It's never about the core, like the engine of it all. The engine of it all is people.
Interesting you say because what I think of leadership is I focus on like certain authors like someone like Robert Greene or John C. H. Max. No, is it John C. Maxwell? And then when they talk about the concept of leadership, it's like having the ability to empathize with the people around you,
Yeah,
like able
yeah,
to
it's
like
all,
relate to their emotions. So
yeah,
because so obviously I was better. Sorry, I used to work in a retail store and I got promoted as a manager. But the thing is, like, I remember the higher ups didn't like the way I manage things. They're like, Duncan, you're too compassionate, you're too empathetic. And I'm thinking, no, I'm like that because that's like you're dealing with young kids. You're dealing
yeah,
with kids that go to university, and college.
yeah,
They haven't got backbones. They don't understand. And
yeah.
I think it's like what I was trying to tell higher ups, like, look, you need to you need to relate to them. If you can't relate to them, they're not going to work alongside you. And I remember the
Absolutely.
key thing, the reason why the high ups had an issue, it was their attitude. I said it was the attitude that bothers you, doesn't it? He's like, yes, it does. So
Mm,
I asked him this. I couldn't say to his face directly, but I was like, when's the last time you try to relate to them?
truly.
Said when's the last time you tried to tell them, hey, I was in your shoes as an employee, like, as a staff member, not like, a manager. Relate to
Yeah.
them from a staff perspective, instead of a management perspective.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about this. Were you ever trained um, to act, how to act on a job? You know, does anybody ever train you to do these things? Do you ever were you ever trained how to conduct yourself in certain scenarios? No, nobody. When nobody train you these things, when you go to school, they don't teach you these things. They teach you
No, of
how to
course.
do the work. They don't teach you how to be, how to act, how to think, how
Yeah,
to talk, how to do all these things, how to get along. None of that is
yeah.
trained. All those things
No, of
are
course.
happening by accident, right?
Facts. No, no, I agree with you that one. I agree with you.
Yeah,
It's like I think there's a famous quote from Rockefeller saying, like, I build workers, not thinkers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, nobody train you how to think.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about what you learn is not even yours. It's all from
Hmm.
what your parents have taught you, your teachers have taught you, environment has
Yeah,
taught you. Who you are today you have nothing to do with it. Nothing.
that's true.
How do you know you are the person who you were meant to be? You don't, because none of what you know is you. Everything you utter out of your mouth and your beliefs and your thoughts and your actions and your ideas come from somebody else. That was
So it's like
implanted
you're
in you.
renting it. So it's like you're renting the idea as I embodying it. So it's like you're a
Yes,
vessel, basically.
yes. This is why adulthood, you can I understand when you're in your 20s and you're figuring your shit out. But when you
Yeah.
get to something like 25 or 30,
Hmm.
you're an adult right now. Now you need to start looking at life differently and goes, is this really me? Is
Of
this who
course.
I was meant to be? Because our uneasiness comes from generations.
That's true.
Our obstacles comes from generations. Right? I mean,
Hmm.
who we are today is probably how our great, 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 great grandfather was. They passed on what they knew to us. And so the things we're learning, the new things we're learning on top of that old things is not really eliminating or erasing those old things because those old things are a core behavior that has been installed in our neurological system.
I
It's not going to
see.
change. That's your behavior. That's your identity. Your identity ain't going to change. And so,
That's true.
unless you purposely make efforts to
Change
do
it.
it, and that take years and years and years and years, and day, and you have to do it every day. And who's
That's
going to do
true.
that?
Well, if it
Right?
was yourself, no one's got
Yeah,
time for you but for myself.
exactly. And so people just say, okay, I am who I am. That's why those words comes in. I'm not like this. I'm not like this. I don't do that. I don't do this. I am this. I am that. Labels. We start to label ourselves, right? And so when you go on the job, Nobody taught you how to be. Nobody taught you how to work. Nobody taught you how to conduct. You said you have to figure this shit out by yourself. And so the leader now looking at you acting a certain way. You're from the ghetto. Uh,
Hmm.
don't know how to talk properly. Don't know how to conduct yourself properly. Never wear a suit before. And here you are in this environment with this white, 90% white office or 98% white office, shaking in your boots, cold sweating, wondering if you're going to keep the job, why they hire you. You don't know what you're doing. You know, I, the leader is looking at you and goes, who hired this idiot? They don't know. They don't care either.
No, of course.
Right?
It's
So,
funny you say that because it's just going back to my days while I was working in retail as well, and most of the higher ups here were like English white people and stuff. And the thing
mhm,
is like where I'm from, yeah, like I live in East London. It's mostly Asian and Black cultures,
mhm,
Caribbean, African, and Asian culture. And
mhm,
most employees I have are literally Asian and Black people. So I'm looking at the higher ups. Like you need to understand, you got to understand that our culture to us to move further.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think it's
Absolutely.
what it is. They want us to think like them, but it's like we're not programmed to think like them. That's not
No.
it's our way. So that's what I mean. As a leader, you got to learn to adapt. You have to
Absolutely.
adapt to your environment. And anytime I
Absolutely.
tell staff, like like this person does it, like no, no. Learn to adapt to them, and they'll adapt to you. You meet them halfway, they'll meet you halfway. Some people struggle with that. It's like no, it's my way, the highway. Then you're not
Mhm.
gonna get any results. But you show a bit of empathy and compassion, you get better results. And I
Of
remember,
course.
it's funny enough, yeah, it's like when we work with women who are in management position and leadership, it's like, do. And it's like, no, show a bit of compassion. You don't have to be aggressive. Show a
Mhm.
bit of compassion and gentleness. It doesn't make you soft and take advantage. It actually makes you human. So people can actually
Absolutely.
relate to you, come to you.
Absolutely.
And I think what it is, when I was working in that field, it's like they didn't like the idea of I was completely against the grain. I didn't do what they wanted. I did what I did. And I
Yeah.
got results out of their leadership. I
Absolutely.
mean, some people, I got it. There were some people who didn't like my leadership because there was like enviness. Oh, I should get a job. I should get this job, not you. But I'm like, do you know how hard it is to maintain people? Like check out people's mentality, make sure that they're okay and right. The amount of times I had to like even tell my colleagues, listen, you don't handle this person this way. Let me talk to them and level with them.
Yeah.
Because clearly, yeah, you ain't got the tools to deal with this person like I have. You're not
Yeah.
equipped.
Yeah. Well, men lead differently from women,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
And I often said, okay, man, man is born with the same emotions and empathy and compassion that women are born with.
Mhm.
However, women, it's kind of innate in women, not so much in men. We have to find it and develop it,
Yeah, we
right?
have to be taught.
We're taught differently. We're brought up differently. I was taught not to cry, right? Or if you're crying, Caribbean parents, if you're crying, don't let me give you something to cry about. You're already
Same as African,
crying.
it's the same with African
You know,
parents.
yeah, that's where they got it from, right? Don't let
But
me give you something to cry
it's
about. I'm
something to cry
already
about.
crying. Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
already crying. What are you talking about? So you have to stop crying. So I was taught
Yeah.
to be tough,
Hmm.
and so we men don't get to tap into their empathy and emotion growing up because
Hmm.
you if you do that, you're a sissy. In
Yeah.
Jamaica, it's a difference. The B man, yeah, B man. You want some that all these different words. So
Hmm.
you have to be tough. And so women, however, don't have this same stigma attached to their natural empathetic self and emotional self. They can cry
Hmm.
anywhere. We feel sorry for them, right?
Yeah.
They can do all these things. So they learn how to be empathetic to other humans. They learn how to be compassion, have compassion towards other humans. So that's why women make better leaders. And
Hmm.
women, I often believe that we need to get rid of all men, especially in positions, and just install women in there because women make better leaders by far because of their approach to things.
I'm gonna even say it, but I'm gonna do a little pushback. I would say some women, not all, because when he is, I've noticed some women they get drunk with power. And when they feel like again they into like that masculine aggressiveness to a point. It's like being soft is not weak. It means you're human. Like that's your weak. Your softness is actually your superpower.
Now, let me
It
ask you,
moves people.
where does that masculine aggressiveness come from?
I think it comes from the environment they're in sometimes or your upbringings. It's like
Women wasn't even allowed to work 2 days ago, or vote, or anything,
yeah, no, of course,
right? Yeah. So women weren't even allowed in leadership. They have to fight their way up. So men train women to be men in leadership. So that masculine aggressiveness came from men.
that's
Even
true.
till till this day, what's the percentage of women we have in leadership? Tiny,
It's
small,
actually little. It's actually small. It's actually a
very
small number.
tiny,
Yeah, of
very
course. But
tiny.
yeah. But it's funny enough. I think all the years I already had like about maybe actually not total. I had two women that were actually good. Actually, about three women in my lifetime were actually great leaders to me,
Hmm.
and that actually taught me and took the time to to teach me where I was going wrong, how to improve myself. They show the compassion and humanity side.
Yeah,
And I think what it is like again, this is like maybe my personal experience, but there are some you see some women who like not just women, some men as well who literally the minute power comes to them, they get high in it. They're like smoking 10 suits.
yeah. I mean, that you see, the reason is because they're trained. They train themselves. They have to fight for it all along. This is all
Hmm.
habitual. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So if you have to fight for something and push through battles to get there,
Yeah.
right? And you want to keep it, you have to act the way it is. I mean, you're among the boys, the big
Yeah.
boys. Okay, this is how the boys act. So this is how I got to be to keep this. And so this is how they become over time. So that change takes place through because they're striving to be. But believe me, a lot of these women, it's not their natural state.
Hmm.
It because their natural state is not, is not developed like that. It's not built like that. Right?
It's more nurturing.
It's more nurturing. That is a persona they have to take on to move up that now becomes a part of their neurological makeup. But it's not
Yeah,
their
of
normal
course.
state. You see them at home with their families and their husbands and stuff, and you look at them and goes, "Is that the same person?"
It's funny how you just say that. You just remind me of something. I feel like some people can't switch off from home to work. Like some people still carry that work energy. I remember my dad would say to me, Duncan, "Why was at work? Leave at work. You're home now.
Yeah, yeah,
You're at
yeah,
home."
yeah.
But then some
And it's
people
hard to
struggle
do
with that. Yeah.
because you're not two people, you're one.
Hmm. You
Yeah,
can't separate them.
you can't separate them. And so that's the tough thing to do. But that's why self leadership is so important because when 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 you're when you work on developing yourself,
Hmm.
uh, it's easier to manage emotions, not control, because
Manage.
control means it's not going to come in, right? You're blocking.
Okay.
Control means I'm
Okay.
blocking. It's easier
Okay.
to feel it
Interesting.
and
Hmm.
manage it, right? I think we misunderstood control, self control. We talk about self control, but we should talk about self manage because you cannot not feel it, right?
So would you say self-manage is form like would you say regulation is another form of self-manage?
It's a self management, but regulation is just a nice word of saying self regulate, right? But
Yeah.
but the truth is, what do you reference to? So you got to manage your thoughts,
Yep.
right? Manage your words,
Mhm.
manage your emotions,
Yep.
right? And manage your actions,
Mhm.
right? So you can't control them, but you can manage them. You can be going down a path and goes, oops,
Oops.
that's the wrong path, and you turn back. Management. You was about to say something and you go, oh, you caught yourself.
Yeah.
Management, right? So you're managing all these different parts of you on a daily basis. Once you're self-aware,
Mhm.
and this is the key, once you're self-aware of who you are, the emotions, all of these things, now it's easier to become a better listener. Now it's
Okay.
easier to have better outputs. right? Because
Mm.
now you can formulate. If you're listening, you can formulate what to say much better, much easier. You can manage your tone better, right? So instead of using aggressiveness when it's not needed, because it's needed sometimes, when it's not needed, because that's when you cut people off, you know,
Yeah.
then now you know the tone to use in that environment, right? Or to
See.
this person, because if one little aggressive word in the morning can crush a team of 50. One
I've seen
word.
it happen. I seen it firsthand. Trust me,
Okay.
I
There you go.
seen it.
Oh, one word.
No. Like, it's actually crazy because it's way back in the days here when, like I said, I was a supervisor and I had a store manager and he just, he had probably energy. He fused his staff members. Next year, our higher up came in. Next thing you know, destroyed the whole morale. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
just compared him to another person. Like, no, this is not good enough. This is disappointing. This is that. He just shared his opinion. I was thinking, in my head, I looked at myself, wow, thank you for destroying everything we did
Yeah.
within less than half an hour.
Yeah.
You look, less than 10 minutes, you managed to destroy our whole team's morale. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
I start commenting to me like, I don't see a point doing anything now. I lost the motivation. I lost the, it's like you destroyed the will.
Of
And I was
course.
thinking, and here and there, I was thinking, for crying out loud, can you show a bit of compassion? It's like, oh, even the high will say, oh, Duncan, I tried a nice guy, it didn't work. No, because you were faking your niceness. You were not being
That's it.
honest.
Not
That's
genuine.
the difference. You're not
Yeah.
genuine. They can see your fakeness.
Yeah.
They can see the
Of course.
mask.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a pure, genuine, like you actually cared. You just want results. So you faked your niceness, put a
That's it.
mask on. We all know you can see you're putting a mask on. You're not being honest to yourself. You're not being authentic. And I think it's funny enough you say that. I think another form of leadership is able to be authentic. Is able
Yeah.
to grace your humanity and humility.
Well,
Like, like I said, but
that's why self leadership is so important because once you're being a certain way, it's just who you are. There's no surprises, that it ain't like you show up one day and someone say something to you and you snap and they goes, where did this person come from? You know, yeah, it's a surprise.
yeah.
When you are being the person who you truly are, which
Hmm.
you call authentic, there's no
Yeah.
surprises. You don't shock people, right? Like me, I come at people at 10,000 miles an hour like a bulldozer every single time. Every time.
Really?
Yeah, so there's no surprises with me. You knew once you call Lincoln, this is what you're gonna get.
So what
So
you see, what you get.
yes, I don't. There's no fake here. There's no put on. Yeah, maybe when I was learning how to be, you can sense some of the fakeness, but now it's installed in my neurological system. It's who I am.
Yeah.
I've been working on myself for over 30 years every day. It's never stopped. And, the only way to really work on yourself is put yourself in environments where you get challenged. People hate challenges, but that's where you need to
I
be.
agree.
So
I agree
leaders,
with that one.
yeah, so leaders think that, okay, we should have workers who doesn't challenge us. We just do the damn work and blah, blah, blah. Shut the hell up. Just do the work. Okay. Shut up. No talk. Do what we're paying you to do. Okay. Leaders think that's what should happen. How do you grow
Hmm.
if you
It's,
don't get challenged? How do you grow?
it's funny though, because now looking back here, in my days as in management position as well, I feel like I said, accountability. A lot of people are afraid to show humanity, saying, "Hey, I made a mistake." It's like the minimum mistake. It's like, oh, but that's it. You dismiss. You're fired. But it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like I'm human. I'm
Mhm.
allowed to make mistakes.
Of course.
Like, how am I gonna grow if I don't make mistakes? And it's like, I think the worst part is you make a mistake, but they'll tell you what you went wrong. It's like, no, you did it wrong. It's like, okay, can you show me how to get better? Can you elaborate or educate me? How is it like? And some of them don't even know how to do it themselves. So you're pointing out I did wrong, but you're not showing me the result, how to improve it next time. That I don't make the same mistake again. And I know it's like in the higher ups that you watch, even me sometimes when you watch the higher ups, you're thinking like, how do you actually get this position of power? Because clearly you're showing your behavior and skills are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
They're two
So,
different things.
two different things. Well, I had a client recently, and
Hmm.
she was working with this young lady.
Yeah.
Um, she wasn't the boss. They were working together, and they fired the young lady, and she was upset about that because she said they shouldn't have fired her. Now, the young lady's been on the job for 3 years. The reason they gave her, they said they fired her is because she don't know what she's doing and she's not doing it. So the client tell me is that, um, she told them the reason why she doesn't know what she's doing is because other people are giving her too much work to do.
Hmm.
And so she can't get all this thing done in the time that everybody wants it done. It's not, um, nobody could do that. Number one. Number two, you guys haven't trained her.
I
She
was
said,
gonna
I
say that.
volunteered to train her, and you didn't let me train her. Nobody trained her. How can you expect her to do the job if she's not trained? And she's been there for 7 years, so she thinks she have the right to speak up. She was upset,
It,
you know.
it, it,
So
you know what?
they now,
It's,
the reason why she called me is because they now are trying to find a way to shut her up. Can you? And this is a multinational company. It's not one who is small. This is the kind of
no,
leadership exists in these organizations,
no, of
right?
course.
Yeah, she don't have the right to speak her mind or to speak truth. You know, so they don't care about you as an employee because you're replaceable, right?
Hmm.
But employees have it wrong. Employees don't understand their power, the power they roll with. And leaders don't understand the power of employees,
No, of
right?
course.
Employees. People, people, if you're a leader, let me say this. If
Yeah.
you're a leader and you look at it from this standpoint, um, the, 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 the people who founded, Southwest Airline
Yeah.
did this. Virgin did this. Richard Branson did this. And a couple other companies have done this. Uh, uh, um, who have done this. Charles Schwab did this with Andrew Carnegie back in the 20s.
Okay.
Um, and it was, if you look at the people as your, um, oxygen, for an example,
Yeah. Hmm.
your entire perspective on leadership will change.
I can see in my head now. I'm actually seeing where you're coming from. When you
Yeah.
look at people like oxygen, I see what you mean because
Oxygen.
yeah,
We cannot live without you.
that oxygen. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at your people as oxygen, even if you just look at them as the engine that drives
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah.
your entire perspective on leadership will change. Because do I really need to teach processes and all these other things, the operations in a company that forever?
Hmm.
No. Once you learn it, you know it,
No, of
right?
course.
So the only thing that people need to learn on leaders, especially, is, um, about themselves. Continue behavior, energy management, thoughts management. Those are the things we need to learn. How to manage yourself under chaos and stress, right? How to be calm in that stuff. These are the things we need to learn, And so if we focus on our people, Dave Chappelle have a great line, great line. He said he doesn't like flying. You probably heard this line, but if
Yeah.
he's but if he's in a plane and the airline is shaking and doing all that stuff, and he looks at the flight attendant, and the flight attendant is calm, he's calm.
Yeah, of course.
But if he looks at the flight attendant and she's
And
freaking
it
out,
shakes you now.
and the plane is shaking, she's freaking out.
But is it no? Because it's just I think what it is, why I'm hearing this here is the key word to me. What I'm hearing is the word attitude. Your attitude says everything because your attitude sets the tone.
Yeah,
And the thing is, I think a lot of managers and higher ups, yeah, if your attitude looks like
I
bummy,
I
they
think it's
crop your
deeper
eyes.
than that. You know, I would
Really?
I would I would say your mindset. It's you have to. Okay, how does people get into leadership? Most people.
I would say it's due to the skills like they have, like, practice makes perfect. You see, like, obviously, so if you look at my role, so I used to work in the clothing line, like clothing
Mm.
sells, clothes, and you guys call it sneakers in American Toronto terms. So I would look at it as a person who had good skills, and then next thing you know, when you promote them, then you start teaching them how to manage people.
Yeah,
But
what
then
kind of
I think
skills? What kind of skills they have?
so it's like they look like it's like departments. So if someone's got like a good skill in the clothing line department, like, they look at the skill, but not
Mm.
realizing some people don't have the management. They don't have the management interacting social. They may be good at, tying the clothes, but they're not good at interacting with humans. And then when
So
you watch
so
some people,
go ahead.
but then when you watch people how they work alongside their teammates, and you work with their colleagues. So what I need to do, like, every time I used to close the store down, I'll look like a coach. I'm a coach. I'm like, okay, go. You go this side. You go this side. I know you're good at this field. Like,
Mm.
American football. I'll put you on this side. You go this way. And they would ask me, how you do that? I'm like, yeah, because I spend time with you guys. So I know what your strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Because you
I'm
pay
looking like a
attention.
coach. I'm
Yeah,
paying attention like a coach.
yeah.
Like I said,
So
so you got to look at it from a sports perspective.
so people get into leadership or management role
Hmm.
through experience
Hmm.
and academics, right?
Yeah.
The credentials, right? So
Yeah.
you hold the credentials, or you have the experience, or you have both the
Mhm.
credentials and the experience.
Yeah.
Okay, which part of that qualifies someone to be a leader?
I think the credentials are not the academics, in my personal opinion. Because I think
None
the
of it,
academics really
none of it qualifies them to be a leader.
okay, interesting.
How do
Because
you
obviously,
learn leadership?
I think by doing, it's by doing really.
By
By
doing.
doing.
Yeah, if you're not able, okay, if you're not able to lead yourself and you hold more degrees than the university,
Hmm.
you got more degrees than what the university's handed out.
Yeah.
Does that make you a good leader?
No, really, no. It just shows you're
No.
intelligent, but
If
that's
you
it.
have
You're
all,
just
it
intelligent.
doesn't even make you intelligent because most people have degrees. They're bright in only in that area, and some of them even have the degree and don't know why they get the degree.
Wow. I hate
It's
when it's
true.
saying this. Nah,
This is
I'm
true.
fascinated because it literally reminds me of why, again, when I look at leadership, it's also you got. I think it said to me as well. You got to be willing to be a student at the same time. You got to be willing to learn as you go along. Like, I think
Mm.
the ultimate thing in that format is feedback. How well are you going to take your feedback? Not just from the higher ups, but also the ones below you. Because the ones below you can see your blind spots. But if you
Yeah.
could take what they say in the feedback and listen to what I'm saying, they'll respect you more because you're actually giving them a voice. Like I said, it's back to the oxygen.
Hmm.
They're your oxygen. If you actually do, like, taking in the oxygen, you actually do well. But I notice over the time, some people have this, even me, there was times when the people below me would give me feedback. I'll look at the personal attack, like, how dare you divide my authority? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would look
Ego.
yeah, like I said, my ego will kick in. I'm like, what? I've got
Yeah.
this. I worked hard. How you know? But it's like, no, they're seeing a spot that I'm not noticing in myself, and they're
Absolutely.
helping me out. They look up, they
Absolutely.
see my blind spot.
Absolutely. And this is part of the issue in leadership. When you're when you're working on yourself,
Hmm.
you're more open to these criticism or inputs that
Hmm.
people are, giving you because you go, oh, this can help me be better. Your
Yeah.
views, your perspectives on things change when you're looking from a point of perspective. You understand other people's perspective,
Hmm.
right? Because you start listening to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't learn if you don't listen. How you gonna learn,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So so you start listening, internalizing what people are saying, and learning by what they're saying. Sometimes you might not like it what they're saying, but at the time, in that moment, you suppress your ego just to hear what they have to say, and later on, you go, you know what, they were right. Yeah. When I got promoted, my first promotion, I remember my when I first got 21 years old, right, in a
21 years
sales
old.
company. 21
Hmm.
years old in a sales company. So and some of these guys were there longer before me. I was nervous as hell because and I'm Jamaican. I was with I had a
Yeah.
strong accent back then. you know. And I couldn't believe why they were promoting me. I was confused because I'm like, all these older men around here longer than me.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me? I thought they were doing something to me, you know.
No, of course.
And I didn't know what I was doing. And then I asked the boss one day, I said, why you giving me this position? I don't know what I'm doing. He goes, what do you mean? I said, every time I look, there's 5 and 6 people around you laughing, having a good time, da 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 da. I want people happy. Happy people sell more. So
Yeah.
if you can keep them happy, they'll sell more. They'd be better. And that's all you need to do. And so that was my training. I didn't know that I need to work on me and get aggressive. All I need to know to do, all I was doing was just being happy and laughing and keeping them happy. But when you say no to me, I become a tyrant. I did. And when you say anything else to me, that's it. I come heavy on you. Anything you say I don't like, I'm aggressive. And so
Yeah.
those things weren't should not be a part of leadership unless it's called for. There are moments when you need aggression, but
Mhm.
there are most of the times you don't need it. So you kind of have to know. And so once I started working on myself, I had the good parts, but I had a lot of bad parts that was canceling
Yeah.
out the good parts. You know,
Okay.
and so once I started working on the aggression, the bad parts, the generational stuff, the environmental inputs that I've learned, those behaviors that wasn't serving
Mhm.
me, there were
Mhm.
obstacles more than anything
Yeah.
else. Um, I started becoming better. So now you're merging the part you're working on with the part that exists, and things just get better and better and better. But the
Better.
bad didn't go away. It sits right there in your neurological system that it
Mhm.
can come up anytime. You have to be aware of it so you can manage it. And so leadership to me is the most important thing. When we don't have leaders in the world, we have chaos. When we don't have proper leaders in the world, the only thing we have is chaos. That's what we
Mm.
have. When if you look at uh, what's been going on in the world for the last couple of years, we have no leaders, none at all.
Yeah.
Zero leaders. And since
Mhm.
last year, business leaders become managers, managing managing politicians' expectations, managing especially American politicians.
Mhm.
European leaders become presidents and prime ministers become managers, managing Trump American um, expectations and 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 emotions and all of these things. And these
Yeah.
are like so now we have one tyrant who is full of ego, who's
Yeah.
controlling everybody. And then
Yeah.
we have Putin. Putin started with Putin. Everybody's afraid of Putin because he threatened nuclear, and so we have everybody walking on pins and needles. That's not freaking leadership. I wish I could get them all in the room and shake them the f up.
I know,
Dude,
but you know what? That I think what it is, that's not leadership. That's someone who's just scared or like someone who's questioning them. Like that's insecurity in a
that's
nutshell.
insecurity.
That
You're
that's
walking
high.
on pins
That's it.
and
Yeah.
needles. I
No,
mean,
of course. And the thing is, it's like it's
come on.
insecure in a high level because it's taking me back to my days where I was like, being a manager and like even like then it's like funny enough, when I went to move to another location, I looked at my staff, I was saying, listen, once I'm gone, you're on your own.
Mhm,
I can't defend you anymore. Because in the day, I'm literally like your shield. I just saying to him, I'm the reason why these lot are not coming after you. They come to me first, and I will go at you. Right?
mhm,
I said to him, I'm your shield that's protecting you from the high ups. Because they don't know you on a personal level like I do. They look at you as a number.
mhm,
They look at you as a number to replace, but you can't replace character. And the thing is, why I left here and came back, half of my people I worked with were fired. And someone was saying, like, Duncan, you're right. You're
mhm,
right. Like, we should listen to you. That all the time you had to go, you weren't to have a go because it's sacred. You were doing this to protect us. I was like, yeah. Do you know how many times, yeah, like these are forward hours in me, back in my head, left, right, center. And I'm literally
mhm.
taking it in for you guys. Even though it's not half your fault because you're not being trained properly. You don't have the proper tools. You know what I mean? Because
Sad, huh?
how can I train you if I'm not being trained myself?
Yeah. Sad,
And the
right?
thing is, yeah, and the high ones not realize it. It's like it's you guys. If you don't train your people, how your manager is able to train the employees?
It's
Because
structure.
in the end of the day, like you can give someone a manual instruction, But some people are practical learners. Like
Right
there's so
now.
many things. Oh, like do you know this? I'm like, no, I'm a practical. Like how you say, oh, do you know the company's principle? I was like, since when did the company have a principle? I don't think you guys follow your own principle.
Mm. Well, think about this. It's so incredible how we're drawn to the things the masses are doing,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
It's so incredible. If you look at in the 1920s,
Mhm.
Andrew Carnegie
Yeah.
hired Charles Schwab to run his business, and Schwab is steel factory, right?
Mhm.
Schwab, he was doing 7 million a year. Now that's a lot of money back then.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
Yeah, but Schwab management style was so effective that the company went from 7 million to 40 million,
Mhm.
right? That's what, six times, almost
Yeah,
six times the amount.
yeah, of
And
course.
the difference was Schwab was more into inspiring his people. He was seeing the people. He
Like
was
I said, the
walking
oxygen.
on the factory floor, inspiring them, motivating them,
Mm.
um, giving them high five, rewarding them for their hard work.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything different but see the people and acknowledge them. That's all he was doing. And that was enough for them to to increase their production. And he does the same thing he did with his people, of course, the same thing he does with his clients. So there's a difference when you see people, right? Um, if you look at Southwest Airlines,
Yeah.
Southwest Airlines is one of the only airline in the world that have over 40 plus years of consecutive profits.
Really?
One of the only airline in the world. And in 19, um, they rebranded it. They started 1968, I believe, and in 1972, I believe, or 71 is when they rebranded to Southwest Airlines. And they, since that day, they started to see their people. They said, we're going to see our people. We're going to operate differently. Do something that separates us. Okay. In 2023, I believe 2023, Southwest is one of the only companies in the world that had 300,000 referrals. Their customers and employee referred 300,000 people to them to work for them. And customers, 300,000 people, including customers and employees, get referred to Southwest. 300,000.
That's actually a lot.
Imagine have that type of referral system or that type of system where you have people just there. You walk in billboard. You don't need advertising,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and so the first time they ever have a layoff in 50 years, 50 years, first layoff they announced was a month or two ago.
Really?
They're going to lay off 1,700 people from the head office, and this it's probably not even going to take place. They only announced it that they might be doing this to cut back because they have too many people at the head office. They don't think of laying off um, their lower end staff. They don't say, okay, we're going to cut the flight attendants, or we're going to cut
The bottom.
the
The,
baggage people, or
yeah.
yeah, the lower end staff. We're going to cut. No, we're cutting from the head office.
So go from the top to the bottom.
Yes, I mean, we're talking about a company that is incredible. You know, if we have every company just look at these examples. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, think about it. 40 years consecutive, 40 plus years of consecutive profits.
Mm-hmm.
50 years of not one layoff. How many
That's,
companies can say that?
I can't figure out many companies that do that as well because at the
So
moment
it
I'm looking
goes
at
to,
it.
so it goes to show you that focusing on people works. But if you're not trained, if you're not developed, if you're not um, well-rounded yourself, you get stuck in the companies that focus on operations. You know, everything to do with doing instead of being.
I mean, it's funny enough you say that. I got a perfect example of someone like me. I'll be honest, someone like Elon Musk. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a terrible, terrible person.
Oh,
I would not want to sit in the room with that guy. I'm like, you just treat people like machines.
of
Like,
course.
like you don't know how to talk to human beings. Like you just focus on results instead of actually the compassion and empathy. And it just goes. It's funny. I was years ago, my previous job. I was talking to a delivery driver. He said to me, "There's an old saying: the the bottoms here see shit, but we see assholes at the top."
Yeah, it's true. We need to I call it leadership 2.0. We need to re up leadership. The process, the systems that most companies, probably 99% of companies
We say it's
that are
outdated.
using, it's
So when you say
outdated.
it's
It's
outdated, so you say it's outdated.
industrial age leadership. Yeah, it's outdated. If you look at the world today, who's running the world? A bunch of old white men.
That's true. Like but in the 70s, the 60 and above.
There should be a limit to that,
Yeah.
right? The politicians need to have a shelf life. Just like if
Yeah.
you work, you retire at 65, they need
hmm
to have a shelf life. 65 or 70, you're done, baby.
But you know
Because
what's funny enough? Sorry, me cut off. You know what's funny enough? Because now they're pushing it up. Like back in the days,
of
like
course.
a man 65, you stop. Like in Ghana, yeah. I think at age 60, you stop you usually stop working at age 60. But
Hmm.
now it's like time going on, they don't want you to they want you to keep working to a point, yeah, you can't no longer work. And you look
Yeah,
at, like you
yeah.
said, the old days, like I think have you read a book called The Prince by Nico Machiavelli?
No.
So basically, and it was back in the Italian Renaissance period. Like we're talking about 15 something. He became a world governor at age 28. Now that time period, 28 was old.
Hmm.
To us, that's young.
I know. I know.
So you look at that
Like,
time period,
women were
28 is
getting married at
old.
15, bro. You know?
Exactly. That
Yeah,
time period was old to them, but then to
yeah,
us, that's too young. Like having a world leader at 28, I'm like, whoa, you're way too young. You haven't got that much experience. You got experience and control. What are you gonna do at 28? Like
yeah.
even me, if I had like a prime minister is 30 something, I'm like, you were way too young.
Of course, of course. The thing of what you need though is what a lot of people are missing because really, who have taught us to be leaders?
I'll be honest with you, I don't think anyone. I mean,
Nobody has taught anyone to be leaders, right?
no.
Everyone is taught to do things. We're
hmm
taught the doing part. How
Yeah,
to write a good article, how to be a law clerk, how to be to the doing,
that's true.
the doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, how to
the
be a lawyer.
actions.
Yeah, the actions, right? We're taught
Mm.
those things, but nobody has taught how to be, how
That's
to be.
something. That's
Yeah,
something you learn on your own. I mean, that is literally something you have to learn on your own. Like I said, due to experience of time
yeah.
as well.
But
And I think,
but it's not something you should. I think this is something we should teach in school because how to be. Okay, what do we have these days? A lot of people are running around the world looking for themselves, like they're lost.
mhm, soul
Isn't that
searching.
what we have? Yeah, last year over 30 million, I think Americans work in other countries, right? Because they're
Mhm.
looking for peace, they're looking for themselves. I'm
Yeah,
looking to find myself.
yeah.
Are you lost? you know,
You
you
know
know?
what? I'll be honest. As a millennial, I hate as my generation. The excuse is I need to travel. I need to find myself. But you can't stay at your own yard and find yourself in your yard. You could just like I don't know, just sit down, write your journal, write down your
Yeah,
thoughts, like have a conversation with yourself. No, I need to go see the world. I need to explore. No, I think that again, this is my personal opinion. I think you're avoiding. That's what you're doing. You're using that as an excuse to
that's what it
avoid
is.
work.
I mean,
Like
traveling
avoidance.
is traveling is good and
hmm
all of those things, but
Yeah.
you don't travel to find yourself.
No, that's stupid. You find
You
yourself
find
within.
yourself to travel,
Yeah.
right? So you got to know who you are, and
Yeah.
this is the battle. This is
Mhm.
where the battle comes in. The reason why you need to find yourself is because, and you're feeling uncomfortable, is because everything you know today,
Yeah.
it's not you. It's what's
Mhm.
been put inside of you from the past, right?
You
These
know
are
what? Yeah.
environmental. Your behaviors are environmentally trained. You
Now,
didn't decide
sorry.
any of it.
Yeah. Sorry, my friend just said something interesting. It's like if you lost in yourself, then you'll be lost in that land, which is true.
Of course, of course.
Sounds
But
my friend Leon there. So
Bob Marley said you can't run away from yourself, right? So yeah,
that's true. I mean, that's a Jamaican saying to you guys.
yeah.
That is true. That is a Jamaican saying. That's like, I think to me, why, I mean, don't get me wrong, I go to the motherland, I go to Ghana now and then, but I don't go there to soul search. I
No.
go to I go there to recharge. There's difference.
Mm-hmm.
I go to recharge my battery. I go
Of
to
course.
recharge and look at perspective. Like really, okay. Like even me when I look at Ghana, Ghana and now Jamaica are now working together now. That's what you call good friendship and team leadership. Two
Mm-hmm.
men decide to work alongside together and
Absolutely,
collaborate.
absolutely. And you talk about character earlier. There is the
Yeah.
perfect example of leadership character.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, since 1962, both parties in Jamaica have been in power, both JLP and PNP. And
Okay.
what happens over the last 60 years? The just reverse. Everything going into reverse. Everything going into reverse. And this is the first time Jamaica has started making changes in the last 10 years since this young man came to power, right? He was in power temporarily for a while, but he didn't have the opportunity to showcase his character, right, that long. But then since 2016, I believe he took over and people keep
So like
voted
10 years.
in. So for the last 10 years, it's the first time you can
Yeah.
see Jamaica, the changes. The deficit, the death rate went from 60 or 140% to 60%. You
Damn.
know, yeah, I mean, it's we're a bankrupt country, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go from importing everything to now exporting some things.
No,
We
of
go
course.
from not developing, not moving to start developing and moving. And so there's that goes to show you that it's the character of the person because all the other leaders before him have this
Mm-hmm.
exact same opportunity.
No, of course. And it's
Why
funny you
didn't
say
they
that.
do it?
It's interesting because it reminds me of my first. Well, obviously, the president gone now, but our first ever one back in the old days, Kwame Nkrumah. He was what made him so good. He was the first guy to teach other countries to get their independence
Hmm.
from America and the UK. Like
You
he
talking Nkrumah?
traveled to, yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked the people back home, what was he like? People say he was a great man. He was fabulous. My grandma told me her auntie was part of his party. They had to interact with him. This guy was a good leader. Took the time to get to know other countries and explore and teach them how to lead the other people, how to get independence. And what you
That's
said about leadership is about having that independence to think outside the box and actually think differently. And I think there's true leaders. And again, my definition truly for me is like, can you think outside the box? Can you think go against the grain? Do something that not many people do, like be a revolution, start something. Like you look at the Black Panther movie, they were good leaders. You know what I mean? They had a good leader,
of
Henry
course.
Newton. He was a good leader.
Of
Like
course.
he saw the problem and found a solution. Malcolm X
Of
said that one. He was a good
Malcolm
leader
X
as
was a
well.
great leader.
Yeah,
Um, King was a great leader.
yeah. King was a good.
He just went in a wrong direction.
Exactly. But in a way, yeah, they managed to move people through their words and their
That's what
actions.
leadership is. Yeah. Leadership is being able to elevate people. And if you're not elevating people, then you're not a leader.
No,
You're
of
not leading.
course.
Mm.
No, of course. Sorry, my friend Leo just said something about a great leader is someone is able to. I think Abraham in terms is definitely got a modern Black Panther vibe. Like there's so many even like someone like Marcus Garvey, now one like great man.
Marcus Garvey was a phenomenal leader.
Like that's the saying. Like he was a phenomenal man. Like
Yeah,
people still praise him to this day. Like he
absolutely.
literally came like a Jamaican man from Kingston, coming down and moved people in so many ways.
Of course.
Uh,
He gave Black Americans confidence
mhm.
in themselves,
Yeah.
and that they're not who they were told that they are. They're kings and queens, and so you should act as a king and queen. And those things is what leaders should do to their people. Your job is to uplift them, not to tear them
Mm-hmm.
down. You know, so
Facts.
if you're going in one direction, you need to lead them in that and make sure it's the right direction where they're being elevated and not being destroyed.
You know what? I think you just said it as well because what I try when I was working, I try to lift my people up instead of bringing them down. Like if someone had a bad day, like the compassion, the empathy, the intuition, like I can sense, okay, what's up? Like what's going on in my mind? Talk to me. In fact, I'll never forget this day. Yeah, I think it was back in 2024. So obviously in the UK we have like EDL situation, fascists we call them. Like there was a situation near where I was working, and some of my staff were worried about getting home safely. So I report this to my store manager. And obviously my store manager's Irish and everything. He was like, I'm like, yeah, we got a problem. So what do you mean? These are gonna have a hard time getting home because we gotta think about their safety. And he was like, well, it doesn't bother me. I was thinking, wow. I was like in my head, I was like, do you not understand? You're talking to three black people.
Yeah,
Are you not consciously aware that
yeah,
you're talking
doesn't
to three
bother
black
me.
people? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I live around the corner. But it's not about you. It's about your employees.
yeah,
And then one of my
it's
staff
crazy.
says to me,
Yeah,
Duncan, you're the only one that actually cared about our health. I'm like, yeah, because I'm one of you guys.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I was thinking,
crazy
okay.
that someone would say that. Huh?
And I was thinking, like, I was like, in my head, I was thinking, I can't be just said that without actually consciously aware and thinking,
Yeah,
like, I know you're Irish, yeah, you must be on our side, but like, that's why me I was saying, wow, white privilege is actually real.
yeah,
Like, it's literally in my face, 4K. And like, wow. The
yeah,
ignorance. And obviously, like I said, my staff looked at me like, Duncan, you're actually a great leader. You got me home. I even said to my staff, text me when you get home. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like, yeah, we got home safely, all right, and everything. And
yeah,
that's the thing. It's like, some people are like, oh, it's like, oh, is that racism? It's like, yes, race does play a part, yeah. But at the same time, I tell my people, listen, I understand white people don't understand us, but let's just try and meet them halfway. And I'll do a thing, I'll try and make them understand us halfway. Of course, you got some that actually will make you halfway, and you got some who are just stuck in their ways. And they're
yeah.
like, nope, like this is my country, we're gonna do it my way. It's like, not really, it doesn't work that way because in the day, our majority of our workers come from African, Caribbean, and Asian descent countries. They literally
Mhm,
understand.
mhm.
So you gotta learn to adapt with us against us.
Absolutely.
Like work with us. We are not your enemy. We're not trying to take over. We're trying to help you. There's a difference. We're trying to help your country get better.
Yeah, you know, but you're
You know
the
what I
enemy.
mean?
Yeah, and that's a huge issue in leadership, right? Cultural. I call it cultural intelligence. That's
Hmm.
a huge issue because if you look at America, I was doing a training one time, and I was a part of this group, this large group, and the government of Jamaica hired us. I thought they would give me the contract, but
Yeah.
they didn't give me the contract. They gave the white company,
Hmm.
colonialism, right?
Yeah.
Colonialist mindset. They
Yeah.
give the white American company the contract and tell them to hire me. I
So
said,
second,
why didn't you? I said, why didn't you
directly.
give me the contract? I'm the Jamaican. You already seen. I worked with you for a couple of years already. You know what I can
Yeah.
do. These people don't know the culture, understand it. Why would you go do something so stupid? But anyways,
Yeah.
I let it be. So now I have to teach these white people cultural intelligence and how to deal with Jamaicans. And we have high level, they put these high level older Jamaicans, like who's been with the government for 30 plus years in high positions. I'm talking like, commissioner of police,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
these are the people that's in this program, high level people who,
Are you serious?
yeah, dude. And now I got to
Just like
teach these American people how to deal, cultural intelligence, how to deal with Jamaicans. I'm the only Jamaican. I'm the only black in the team.
are
I
you
could
serious?
not believe
It's like
what
asking
they've
you.
done. This
So
is
instead of asking you, going to like a now common sense. No, it is. They saw the money. They forgot the people. They saw the money. They saw
it's
white
better.
man equals money. That's what it is
Yeah,
they
yeah,
saw.
yeah,
Ka-ching.
yeah,
That's what they saw.
yeah.
Like trust me,
Better.
it's the
I
same
think
thing in
it's
God.
better. I think it's
Yeah,
better. The mentality is that okay, he's white, so he must be better. You know,
yeah.
but then I'm the one who's teaching everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
No, of
there were,
course.
dude. It was a 6 month program. They had the hardest time with the Jamaicans. Every time we have to have 2, 3 meetings a week for me for Q&A. Lincoln, how do you get a hold of this one? How do you deal with this situation? They're not dealing with me. They're not doing this, that. So I'm the one who was running the program. In the meantime, all of my team, everybody on my team was happy because what? I have cultural intelligence. I
Mhm.
understood Jamaicans. I understand the mindset. I
Yeah.
understand the level of respect. I understand the
Mm.
hierarchical thing that they deal with. I understand. I have cultural intelligence. And so this is what a lot of leaders don't take time to learn when they have different people working in their organization. They think that okay, you're in my country,
Mm.
you're hired in my company, you should operate the way we tell you how to.
You know
You know,
what? There's something you just said something and it spoke to me so many ways. I think because again, me and my friend Leo, we talk about this. It's like cultural influence. Like in a way, I'm gonna elaborate. So to me, yeah, like while I was working, like I work from different people. So I work along with Bangladesh people, Romanians, Albanians, Jamaicans, Nigerians, like
mm,
even my own people. What I learned here to get along with people, I learned to try to speak their language. So I ask them how you say thank you and please in your language.
mm.
So I learned to speak a little bit Romanian, a little bit Albanian. So you know, we're creating, we're defecting the cultural barrier. So they learn from me, and I'm learning from them. So when I had customers that are like fluent culture, I could speak to them a little bit, and they're surprised because I'm taking the time to actually learn their culture. I'm actually taking the time to learn them. And that's what moved the people like, yeah, I work with Duncan because, he's actually trying to base my culture. He's trying to relate to me.
You
That's what it
realize
is.
how rare you realize how rare that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think language is important. When you take this time to really to learn someone's language, it shows you want to get to know it at that human level.
absolutely, absolutely. It's very very rare because you know the leaders, especially in the West, Western leaders, they look at one thing and one thing only: the bottom line.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Everything that leads to the bottom line. That's mean
Hmm.
performance, productivity, processes, how many sales,
Yeah.
KPIs, there, KPI.
Yeah.
Everything that leads to profit is what they look at. You doesn't exist in their eyes. You, the human,
Hmm.
who are the engine, the oxygen of it all, does not exist and doesn't is not inside the equation. It's really it what's the word, behooves me, or whatever word they use. It really doesn't make any sense. It boggles the mind that people would be so intensely focused on everything that leads to the bottom line, operation wise, but forget the human who's the engine of it all. It really, it's like, don't you see that person standing right there? They're like 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. You don't see that.
Yeah. No, of course not.
How
What you
can you miss
see,
that? They're invisible.
you know what it
You
is?
know what I
They're
mean?
looking for the results because what you just said reminds me of why I worked in retail. Is my the two types. You had the core and you got the module.
Mm,
And they were like, oh, we got to focus on the module. Like the module was the one, yeah, that keeps coming back to it. But I was like, no, I want to focus on the core because you know what it is? The cores are the ones that are loyal to you, the ones that stick
mhm,
with you. And guess what?
mhm.
They'll bring more people towards you.
Yeah, you know, crazy.
That's how it is. It's crazy because people don't
Yeah.
understand. It's like even when like I know a person said to me, like you can have so many followers, yeah, in so many platforms, but you is in a room with them right now, it'd be literally impossible to talk to every single one of them.
Oh yeah. Last year I was doing some training right in this room, and I had about 35, maybe 35, 40 leaders in the room. I forgot how many it was, but it was
Yeah.
was a bunch. And
Hmm.
some of them were really high level, and they were all from the same
Yeah.
company, and they were all men. 80% of them was men, and they didn't want to be there. You could tell because they're
The
CFOs,
ego.
COOs, and they don't want to be in the room. They're like
No, it's the ego kicking in. It's like
ego,
the insecurity. The
yeah,
ego insecurity
insecurity,
kicking in.
and they
Like
don't
it's
know
like,
that
yeah.
that is what they're displaying, right? But anyways, one of the question asked him is that how do you get people to perform at a high level? And my answer was very, very simple. And the room went silent when I said, just keep them happy.
It's funny enough. The most simplest thing, plain and simple, is complicated to
The
other
room
humans'
went
lives.
silent. They're like, they were expecting some complicated
They wanted like
explanation.
they wanted like a giant maths equation. They wanted like a
Yeah, some
giant
framework, some
Einstein.
this, some that, some this.
Like they wanted a PowerPoint presentation. They wanted that PowerPoint presentation, like A, B, C, D. It's like no, just keep them happy. Just
Keep them
be
happy.
human. Like
The
think about
room
people.
went silent. I mean,
Silence.
for like, they sit there and I tell you, it's got to be, I didn't say anything else for like a minute. And nobody said anything. Everybody's looking at each other like it's like I was speaking a different language. And I
It's like
had
it
to,
just got
I had to
it's like it's got a fire.
yeah. And I had to break it down to them. I said, happy people. I use you ever seen the California commercial, happy
Yeah.
cows
It's
produce happy milk?
it's happy world.
Everybody sees that, right? So I said, I the same question I asked them. Happy cows
Happy
produce
people.
happy milk.
It's happy world.
Happy people
People
perform
based
better,
on better
produce
results.
more
Oh,
profit for you. Simple. On happy people,
people
poor performance,
service
poor results,
knows
poor.
results.
It's a very simple equation.
But you know what it is? I think what it is here, the reason why they struggle because it requires them to do the work. It
Yeah,
requires them to do the physical work. But
exactly.
if you're not someone who's actually used to it, it's like second. It comes weird to you. Like
Yeah,
habitually, you have to get out of the habits. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And the
yeah.
thing is, like me, I love talking to people. I love having conversation with people, and I love chatting with people. And the thing is, why is I I remember someone says to me, Duncan, you're more interested in people than things. I'm like, yeah, because why? Once you understand people, you understand things.
Of course.
Humans
Well,
lead to
but that,
things.
well, that's why the people perform with you because
Hmm.
you make them happy. You don't make them nervous and afraid and have fear. You instill peace and serenity and calmness and confidence inside of them. They feel good. When people feel good, they perform better. It's simple ABC, common sense. You don't need a Harvard
Common sense is
degree.
com-
You need a
common sense
degree
is
to
a
figure
myth.
this one out.
Common
You
sense is a
know?
myth, my friend. It is a myth. You know what? I'll never forget it. I remember there was one staff member I said to me, he's like, "Oh, is this person in?" No. Oh, thank God. I don't like when this person in, but you're here. I'm happy, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
look
mean,
at
you
that.
can see some people get jealous. Like it's not my fault. I'm likable. I'm just know how to relate to people. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, yeah.
Let go of your
You
ego
know?
and actually show compassion. But in the workforce, it's like, oh, being nice is like a form of weakness, or you're being too soft. That's like pushover. Like, no, that's showing you have the ability to relate. You have the ability to show you can compassion. Like, be compassionate human being, be decent. Because you don't know what this person's going through. Just talk to them.
No,
And I think it's like, look at it this way, people want to go to work not because they need to make money, but also they want to be in an environment where they can actually spend 8 hours where it's peaceful. They don't want to go in an environment where they're going to be 8 hours and tortured.
think about
You know,
going to work and
not like
being
your job.
afraid. Yeah, being afraid that your boss, to say something that might piss your boss off.
Hmm.
So you don't speak.
Yeah,
How, what are you thinking about all day? If you're afraid you might say something that piss your boss off and you don't speak, you're not. Is that a happy environment?
that's a hostile
Is your
environment.
energy? That's a hostile environment. How are you going
Environment.
to perform? What's your
You
performance going
can't.
to be like?
It's got to be decreased a lot.
Of
It's got to be
course,
decreased. It's got to decrease so much, yeah, to a
of
point you can't
course.
perform. And they're like, oh,
Yeah,
why is this person not performing? Like, what is it about? Well, because this person's not happy. Make the environment like I love when the people they say, "Oh, how can we make the environment more better for you?" Like, be honest. And I'm looking like, are you sure you want these ones to speak their truth? Because I don't think some of you lot are able to handle it.
yeah. Well, you said something um, powerful earlier on, and you kept repeating it. Is that you've taken the time to learn about people, learn about what they are, learn about them, how they operate, how they act. But that comes from you. If it was you in that position, you'd want to be treated that way as well, right? So you're demonstrating what you like, what you would
Yeah.
like to be demonstrated to you. So you're seeing them as humans. You want people to see you as human. You're not seeing them as just some workers performing some duties. You're seeing them as people, and you
Yeah.
come. I don't know if you understand that by learning about them, by understanding them, by helping them, by keeping them happy. I don't know if you understand that leads to higher productivity and
Hmm.
more money for the company. And so if you get that and your boss don't get that, then we
No, I'm
we have
laughing because
trouble.
it's actually so true. Because I remember, what is it? Years ago, while I was doing a night shift job, I had one staff member, and everyone's complaining about this person. Oh, this person's not performing well. He sucks, anything. So what I did one day, I put him into the office aside. I was like, "What's up? What's on your mind?" And I just said to him, "Look, do you like reading books? Yeah. Do you like listening to audiobooks? Yeah." I said, "Here, read this or listen to this." And next thing you know, his attitude changed. He was more happy. He was more moving faster. Everyone looked at me, "What do you do, dog?" I was like, I just took the time and figured out what the problem was. I just recommended something to him.
You saw him.
Yeah.
You take the time to see
Hmm.
the human. You
Yeah.
saw the human. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't just see what they're doing. You saw the human. That's the difference, and that's very rare in leadership. Very very rare in leadership. It's so um important to to care or to be
Hmm.
empathetic. Zig Ziglar often said,
I love
um,
Sir Ziegler's work, by the way. Fantastic
yeah,
guy.
I love that guy. I've seen him so many times. When he was
Trust
old,
me.
he got so much energy, you know.
I
But
know.
he said one of his words is that the line he used all the time. He's not the original creator of it, but he used it all the time. He said, "People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care."
Yeah.
And it's so
Y-
important about that, right? They got to know how much you care.
it's funny. It's similar to the quote I say myself all the time. It's like, people won't remember what you did to them. They'll remember how you made them feel.
That's it. That's it. Always, always. Yeah. And that's such an important thing because again, happiness, happiness equals the results you're getting. Unhappiness equals the results you don't want.
Yeah.
It,
No, of
it's a
course.
simple equation. There's no, you
Yeah.
don't need, like I said, you don't need a degree to figure this one out.
It's crazy how, like, Michael Jackson's classic song "Human Nature."
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me that it's like human nature. It's like people forget we are social animals.
Of
Like,
course.
they forget the social part. They focus on the
Yeah.
tech side, but they forget
That's
the humanity side.
the
You
humanity
know what I
side.
mean? They
Yeah.
have this thing. Oh, you're replaceable. We can replace you, but it's like, okay, but you can't replace character. You
No.
can't replace character. Character is something you can't replace.
Yeah.
And the amount of times, yeah, that I've seen it so many times in the field I was in, they try to get rid of the original people and just like, oh, let's do a genocide. Let's get rid of the original people and high value people. Guess what? You're gonna have the same mistake again
Of course.
until you change your way.
Of course.
Until you change your way, because you hire the new people, it's like monkey see, monkey do. You hire a new
Of
bunch of monkeys. Next thing you know, they're gonna see you and they're like, I'm gonna be like this. And it's like, they're like the previous one. Yeah, because you have not changed. You may
Yeah.
change the people, but you didn't. People will
Yeah.
change when you change.
You have to change. It's like uh, uh I use this analogy for the subtraction. It's not I'm not anti-growth. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, I promote growth by subtraction,
Hmm.
right? So the analogy I use is a company would get in financial trouble,
Yep.
and the first thing they start to do is to look where they can cut, right?
Hmm.
So they cut staff, they lay people
Yeah.
off, they
Yep.
close stores, they close
Hmm.
locations, they do
Yep.
this, they do that. They
Hmm.
they get leaner,
Yeah.
right? And the minute they get leaner and start to see profit again, they go right back to their old habits, start replacing people again,
Yeah.
um,
Start
you know,
expanding stores. Start
expanding
expanding like
stores again, start doing, and then a few months or years later, they go right back to the same thing
as you
because they
get so
cut
sick.
staff, and they go, and they get stuck in this loop. It's like a never-ending loop that they don't. Nobody in the company ever stopped to think that this ain't working. This is not
Yeah.
working. We need
Trust
to
me,
do
I
something a little
need something
different.
different.
Yeah, but
Nah,
they
I
don't.
hear it.
It's like that's the
That's the point.
playbook. That's the playbook, and they stick to the playbook, even though it does not work. But they
It's
stick to it.
outdated.
It's outdated.
It's outdated. It's got
Outdated.
past its
Yeah,
expiry date, but
yeah,
they can't see it. It's like
yeah,
they can't see the future ahead. They always say like, I mean, I remember like I was talking to my previous manager. I was asking like, why are we hiring new people instead of training what we have now? Oh, it's like the reason why we want to train new people now because they're attitude and stuff. So we need freshness. No,
yeah.
I don't think you need outsiders because sometimes the inside is you guys. So you need to train the inside problem instead of the outside problem.
Of
And
course.
when you said that, it made me realize like a lot of companies will not admit, they're wrong and their way of
No,
approaching things
no, no. They
until
don't.
it gets to a point. It's like rock bottom. They're like, okay, now we got to change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
They
the
have to
thing.
feel the pain to change, right? And
Yeah.
that's the sad part. What I don't like about that looping system is that they don't look at the hurt and the pain they're causing people by laying
Mhm.
them off.
Yeah.
They don't see that. They see restructuring, getting lean for more profits,
Yeah.
but they don't see the pain of they're causing. And so this just is going to show you how important leadership is to 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 focus on people. How important leaders it is for leaders to focus on people because you make less dumb decisions
That's it. Hmm.
when you focus on the people, right? You make less stupid decisions because you're not so much profit driven. And here's the irony. The more you focus on people, the bigger, more sustainable your profit becomes over the long
Yeah.
term. Think of Southwest Airlines, right?
Hmm.
So you get yourself out of this loop. So instead of staying in this loop and laying people off and hurting them because it's painful. People,
Yeah.
they have their livelihood. They have the job is their livelihood, right? They have to pay their
No.
bills. They have to pay their
Hmm.
mortgage. They have
Yeah.
families. It destroys families. Laying
No,
people off is
fact.
not easy. You know,
Yeah.
I had a friend got laid. I was working for GM, General Motors, for many years here in Canada and got laid off and it destroyed it,
Wow.
destroyed it. Just, you know, it just couldn't, because he doesn't have the mental, wit, a mental, fortitude to withstand this,
He had the grit. He didn't have the
yeah,
grit for it.
yeah, he didn't have the grit, right? And so it destroyed him. It literally, he was there for like 20 years and they let him go. And actually, um, when they're laying them off, people are so angry they have to bring security and police and all of that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Because,
It's an emotional thing because that
yeah,
person formed their identity towards the job.
yeah,
They don't have to
yeah,
separate themselves. And
yeah,
it's actually kind of hard and tricky as well. But definitely,
yeah,
but listen, I would love to talk more about this, but I think we actually talked more than an hour. I realize it.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
like
I'm
our
looking at the
favorite.
time too. Yeah,
But you know what? I actually love this conversation we had, and I think this is something it's gave me food for thought and how to go past in my future if I become a certain role and in the industry. Because next week Monday, I'm starting a college course on railway maintenance, so I'll be working
yeah,
in track fields. And hearing this, yeah, is made me think, okay, if one day if I do become a leader, I'll actually remember this method and this conversation in my head. Is the
yeah,
character, build my character up, and also focus on the people.
absolutely,
No, of
absolutely.
course, definitely.
Yeah, this was good too. I'm glad. How old are you?
I'm 33.
You're only 23 years old.
No, 33, 33.
33, 33. Okay, because after you use the British accent on me. 30,
Yeah.
30. Yeah. Wow, dude. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm still young. I'm still young. I still got a lot to learn.
Oh, you're very young. Yeah, yeah. I remember 33. I wish I could go back. We can trade.
You know what? It's something my granddad said to me before he passed away. Spend time with older people and less drinking.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Your grandfather's wife. You learn. I'm going to close with this. There's nothing new in the world.
Hmm.
Nothing new. Life is a repetitive cycle, right?
Yeah.
Everything that happens before will continue to happen and will happen again. It
Yes.
keeps repeating itself. That's
Hmm.
why we have people born every day, go to school, get married, have kids, and die.
Yeah.
It's repetitive, nothing new.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so, you know, the best thing for us to do is not to go and make efforts to learn things on our own. That's the wrong way to go about it. The
Mhm.
people before us,
Yeah.
they've gone down the same path that we're about to travel. They
Yep.
can see around corners. So learn from the people who have the ability to see around the corner. And they
Of
will
course.
tell you whether it's good to go down that road
Uh,
or not good, go the other way. And once the people who do that, and the quicker you learn to do that, instead of going, I'm going to go learn on my own and screw up and pay to learn, foolishness.
no, of course.
The quicker you take the opportunity to learn from the elderly, the less
Uh,
struggles you have in life, the more fruitful your life become.
mhm.
Everything that you want come to much easier and better.
You know, it's funny though. You just remind me of old African saying, "It takes a village to raise a child."
Of course, you know, Ubuntu, Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu. I am because of we,
Yeah.
because of us. Yeah,
No,
Ubuntu.
of course.
Yeah,
It's a good quote, it's definitely. But it's like I got a balance, but it's a great conversation to talk to you, and I hope to like this. I hope to have more conversation in the future and above. Definitely.
same
Like
here,
I said,
sir.
this. No, of course, definitely. And obviously, next time we talk, we can talk about the healthy relationship between Jamaica and Ghana and how things are going for them.
Absolutely. Hey,
Definitely.
this was
Yeah.
wonderful. It was a
You
pleasure
too.
meeting you, and this was
You
good
too, man.
conversation.
Definitely.
Take care.
Definitely. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.